The Honorable Moore.
Thank you, Chairperson. As the ANC seeks to ram this terrible legislation through with a parliamentary majority that they will not have for much longer, perhaps those of us in touch with reality ought to reflect on how we arrived at yet another ANC-induced crisis. I come from the beautiful and dynamic province of Gauteng, traditionally known as South Africa's economic heartland. Yet over the past weeks and months, our place of gold has been the site of chaos and ineptitude, as taps have gone dry inside of homes, schools, police stations, and hospitals. A state that cannot even provide the most basic of services to its people is the very definition of a failing state. And I say humbly to South Africans that unless we change our vote, our taps will go dry for longer. I am a more privileged Gauteng resident, as when the taps go dry, I can afford to purchase water. But imagine the realities of many that cannot. Imagine the story of the 85-year-old woman from Coronationville who is ill with cancer, yet on top of this is deprived of her basic right to sanitation. Imagine the story of the 78-year-old woman from Kagiso whose body is too old to carry the 20-liter buckets that they get delivered from water tankers, so she is forced to pay others with her limited pension. Imagine those sitting at our already failing public health hospitals who are turned away because there's simply no water to help them. From load shedding, now we have water shedding. And there is one commonality, the ANC. Gauteng and South Africa are in crisis, and we need political change, which this bill will not provide. Instead, we are presented with legislation that seeks to repeat exactly how we arrived here. Among the many provisions, the bill seeks to further centralize power to the minister. It aims to create the Eskom of water, and the Eskom of water will lead to national water shedding. I say that again, the Eskom of water will lead to national water shedding. Has the ANC not learned anything from its former minister, Nomvula Mokonyane, who spent billions on her war on leaks? Yet our country still loses almost 47% of its water to leaks. But in the ANC's world, there is no water crisis. Their puppet mayor in Johannesburg was quoted saying, "There is no water crisis." The same mayor who said that the water is flowing through the pipes when a valve was closed. Residents of Gauteng are angry, and we are desperate for change. On the 29th, we can turn this ship around. The DA will stop this disastrous legislation in its tracks, and it will not become law. The DA will build new infrastructure. We will maintain our country's current infrastructure. We will ensure that local governments spend their money wisely and that no water is wasted. We will ensure that government infrastructure grants are spent wisely, and we will regularly test all of the nation's water to ensure that it's safe for consumption.
Honorable members.
We can deliver this change. We do not have to live in societies where our homes, schools, and hospitals are dry. We can have a government that cares for our human rights and does not deprive us of water. It is time for the DA to rescue South Africa. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. The Honorable Masala.
Thanks so much, House Chairperson. We are here to debate the bill that seeks to establish a state-owned entity that will be responsible for water management in this country. While we don't object to the importance and strategic role of the state-owned entity, the problem we are facing as a country is a different problem. The people of Guyana were promised water since 2009, despite living near Nandoni Dam, which is just 50 kilometers away, with 160 million cubic meters, the people of Giyani still do not have water today. The people of Mhlaba Walingane living next to Jozini Dam, the third largest dam in South Africa, they still do not have water. The people of Sikukune living near the Hope Dam, one of the biggest dam in Limpopo, still do not have water. The people of eThekwini living near Inanda Dam have no water. The people of Howick and the community of Mpupumeni in KwaZulu-Natal, who are 23 kilometers away from Midma Dam, still have no water. The people of Colesberg in the Northern Cape, who are living 50 kilometers away from Harib Dam, still do not have water. The people of Denelton and surrounding villages near Loskop Dam do not have water. The people of Itireleng in Northwest, who are situated 25 kilometers from Daun Dam, still do not have water. There are many more people who don't have water, living near and far from the dams. The people of Umlazi, the people of Guguletu, the people of Alexandra, the people of Madibeng in the Northwest, the people of Guruman, the people of Warrenton in the Northern Cape, the people of Toyando in Venda, the people of Mosina and all its surrounding areas, such as Nansfield, Matswale, Campbell, Harper Extension 14, Extension 9 and 10, Mshongoville and Squan Plus have no water. The people of Sishiru in Polokwane, Limpopo, they don't have water. Our problem is not that we don't have water in South Africa. Our problem is not that we don't have engineers in South Africa. Our problem is not that we cannot build water infrastructures in this country. The problem is that the ANC government has neglected the water infrastructure in the last 30 years. They have neglected the water treatment plants. They have neglected the water network system. And they've allowed water leaks to become the permanent future of the water system. And they've done this while they're giving the people of Hammanskraal water that is killing them. When we say the ANC is killing people with water, we are talking about the people they are killing in Hammanskraal. When we say the ANC government is killing people with water, we are referring to the residents of Kimberley who are consuming contaminated water unfit for any living being. Their health and well-being are compromised due to the negligence of this government, resulting in shortened and deteriorated lives. The question is, what is to be done? Because water belongs to all of us as a national heritage, and water is life. We need to ensure that all households have access to pipe drinkable water inside their houses. We don't want a state-owned entity that is going to manage tenders between the state and contractors. We want a state-owned entity that will employ engineers, a state-owned entity that will employ artisans, a state-owned entity that will employ planners, and build internal capacity to upgrade all aging and dysfunctional water infrastructures. We want a state-owned entity that will ensure that all water services authorities and water service providers have water safety plans. We want a state-owned entity that will carry out regular water quality tests and evaluations across all municipalities so as to achieve excellent physical and chemical and microbiological water quality compliance. We want a state-owned entity that will ensure that the waste of water through water leaks is a thing of the past. And we don't want a state-owned entity that operates for the sake of profit, but a state-owned entity that operates for the benefit of the people. We are raising all this because transparency and the accountability when dealing with the National Water Resource Infrastructure Agency bill was at times shambolic. We appreciate that there's a need to improve the management of our water resources. And we know the ANC government has no political will and
Thank you very
capacity.
much.
When the EFF takes over power on the 29th May, we are going to prioritize water and make sure that our people have access
Honorable Musala,
to
your time is up.